Hey, hello, and welcome to the second episode of our HTML for Beginners series. My name is Sana Mapena. In this episode, as promised in the previous one, I'll be discussing the anatomy of an HTML tag. I'll be going into detail on the individual components that make up an HTML element. Now, a typical HTML element is made up of an opening tag and a closing tag. Now, both tags are enclosed inside the left and right angle brackets. Inside the angle brackets, you find a tag name. So in this example here, right on the screen, the tag name we are using here is the H1. The difference between the opening tag and the closing tag, as you might have already noticed, is that the closing tag has a forward slash. Okay, now the opening tag indicates to the web browser that this is the start of the element, while the closing tag tells the browser that the element ends here. In other cases, the element could be a list of items. For example, here I have an unordered list of different types of sports: football, netball, cricket, boxing. Sorry if I didn't include your favorite type of sport. Only had space for 4 items. Now, here the opening tag, which is the UL at the top, indicates or denotes the start of the list. Okay, while the closing tag here at the bottom, which we are actually sure that it is a closing tag because of this forward slash, remember, indicates the end of this list. While most HTML tags have an opening and a closing tag, there are tags that do not have closing tags, and they are called self-closing tags. One example of such tags, which is here on which you can see here on your screen, is the HR tag, or the horizontal rule, which is used to specify a thematic break and to separate content in an HTML page. So some call them void tags, some call them empty tags, and so on and so on. Now, uh, to show you how this tag works, I'm going to use Codepen. You can also use Codepen if you want to, but by first signing up for free. I've signed up. I have an account and I'm logged in right now. Here I'm going to write just a simple paragraph using the p tag, like so. Okay, inside here I'm going to write, what can I write? I'm going to write, let me write, I enjoy. I enjoy sharing what I've learned through my YouTube channel, which is what I'm doing right now. Okay, so as you can see, this is a paragraph. The opening tag here indicating that this is the start of the paragraph, and the closing tag here with a forward slash indicating the end of this paragraph. Now, the HR rule, we are going to include it right here. Here's the syntax. You'll see it here. Now, here's the horizontal rule. This is the horizontal rule, which, as I said earlier on, is used to specify a thematic break or to separate content in an HTML page. So maybe it's not visible enough. We can also include attributes to specify, for example, the size, the color, and so on. Let's start with the color. In fact, let's start with the size. Okay, let's start with the size attribute. Let's give it a 4 pixel size. You'll see it's now much bigger than it was before we included that attribute. before we included that 4 pixel size. Maybe it's not visible enough and we want to give it a color that will make it visible, more visible than it is. Let's give it a color. What color should we give it? Let's try red and see how it looks. There you go. It's red. Now, this is how you can use this self-closing tag. Now, as you can see, this is quite different. These are 2 different things, 2 different tags. This tag here does not have the forward slash that we were talking about earlier. As you can see, this paragraph has this forward slash. It has a closing tag. It has an opening tag and a closing tag. And this one, it does not have an opening and a closing tag. That is why it is called a self-closing tag. That is why you don't see a forward slash anywhere inside this tag, which is the horizontal rule. Now, another example of these self-closing tags is the BR tag or the line break. Now, the line break is used to insert a line break. Okay, it is used to insert a line break. It's usually used, for example, when you want to write addresses, you want to write a poem, lyrics, text that maybe forms a column because maybe there's going to be an image on the side. You use the BR tag. Let's see how the BR tag works. Now, for example, let's just delete this HR tag. For example, if you look here, the code here is on the same line. Everything is on the same line, and this is how it is rendered here. But even if maybe we were to put our cursor here and press enter, and then we have 2 lines here, but you'll see right here on our right here, it's still a single line. Even if we were to come here to the start of the word YouTube and click enter, we have 3 lines right now, but nothing has changed. It's refreshing, and you can see right here on the right, we still have a single line. Why is that? That is because this line of code here in this line of code, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that says this line of text should be rendered as separate lines, 3 lines. No, there's nothing. The only thing that is here is that this is a paragraph, and that is why our browser is interpreting it and rendering it accordingly. So if we want to break this into 2 lines or 3 lines or whatever, we can use the BR tag. How are we going to use the BR tag? Let's just put everything back to how it was before we started. Let's do this. Okay, we are going to put the BR tag. Okay, where can we put it? I enjoy sharing what I've learned through my let's just put it here, YouTube, before the YouTube channel. The syntax is like this: BR inside angle brackets. And now YouTube channel is on a separate line. We've broken this line into 2 lines. It was a single line. It is still a single line. If you look at this code here, this side, everything is still the same. It's on a single line. You can see here, it's on line number 1, but here it's rendered as 2 lines. It's rendered as 2 lines because we included the BR tag to break the line into 2, and that is why it is rendered the way it is rendered here on our right. Even if we were to enlarge this window here, nothing will change. It will stay like that. It will always stay like this. So that is why it is broken into 2 lines, because we used the BR tag, which is another example of a self-closing tag. In closing, what I want to also discuss is the comment tag. Now, the comment tag is used by developers to write comments or notes about their code. Now, the comment tag is ignored by the browser. Whatever it is that you write inside the comment tag will be ignored by the browser, meaning that it will not appear it will not appear on the browser. It will not be rendered. So this is the syntax of the comment text: angle bracket, exclamation mark, and then 2 dashes, another 2 dashes. You can include here a closing angle bracket. Now everything that you write inside here is going to be ignored by the browser. Let's just write our page. Just wait our page. As you can see here on our right, it's refreshing, but the text is not appearing. Nothing is appearing. So this is what the comment tag is used for. So you can write information about your code that you want other developers to also see. Maybe you want to provide clarity on some of the things that you've written in your code, or you want to just jog your mind about some of the things that you've included inside your code. Now, the most important thing to remember is that the comment tag is ignored by the browser, so it's not going to be rendered. Everything that you write here is for you as a developer, or for other developers to read and to make sense of what they are looking at when they are looking at your code. Now, I think this brings us to the end of this episode. In this episode, I discussed the anatomy of the individual components of an HTML tag. Some HTML elements have opening and closing tags, while others, such as the horizontal rule, are self-closing. Self-closing tags can have attributes specifying, for example, their sizes, their colors, and so on. And then comment tags are ignored by browsers and are used by developers to write notes about their code. For further reading on this topic, you can either check or visit devdocs.io. They have an extensive documentation on this topic. Another site that you can also check out is developer.mozilla.org. These are the guys who gave us Mozilla Firefox. They also have a lot of information on their site. You know, they have a very, very extensive as well documentation on this topic. Another site that you can also check out is the w3schools.com. They also have a space where you can also play around with some of the examples that they also provide. So that's it, folks. In our next episode, we will turn our attention to a boilerplate. Please make sure that you don't miss this episode. Please also make sure that you subscribe to this channel and click that bell icon to receive notifications when new videos come out. Thank you so much for watching. Let's code again next time. Goodbye.